Imagine what it would be like if all the stories of your life, locked behind trauma and dreams, all of a sudden one day awakened. Well, that's what's happened to me. Welcome to my vlog, where I record my journey to publishing my first book. And we're here, vlog 23. And in this vlog, I have a couple of things we'll discuss. First off, I'm going to take you through the worlds of the Wardens of the Dawn. I'm going to name them and I'm going to talk about them. I'm going to also give you a little bit of a story on how I came up with them. There are 7 worlds. Then I'm going to go and talk about the authors that inspired me. My favorite science fiction authors, fantasy and horror authors. And then I'll finish with an update. And we got some updates this time. We got some good updates. So follow along. Hope you enjoy. Welcome to the vlog. So welcome to my worlds. And these 3 worlds are what we will see in my first 3 books. So in book 1 is the world that's directly behind me. This will be Prime. And that is Earth, but in the year 2346. It's a bit flooded. The water has risen over 1.5 kilometers, and constant storms and thunderstorms above, making it impossible to live on the surface, so everyone has to live underwater. And that's where the entire story happens, is in the oceans. Then we move to the book 2, which is Verdoria. And Verdoria is the home of Darkin. Darkin is a story that I wrote when I was in my 30s. I used some digital art, made images, and then wrote a story based on those images. I've reused that and realigned it to fit within the narrative for the Wardens of the Dawn. Oh, by the way, and Prime came from when I was in high school, when I was working on a project of science fiction with a friend, and these are my words. And then Cylinder also came from that high school project. Imagine a cylinder where the inhabitants live in purple mountains along the inside of a cylinder with an ocean in the middle. And it's inhabited by giants and dragons. I have to get dragons in here somewhere, right? Yeah. There's a dragon on Prime. There are dragons in Verdoria, and there's dragons in Cylinder. I will always have my dragons. And here in Book 4, we will visit the remaining 4 worlds that are part of the fiber. There are 7 worlds in the fiber. And here on the left, we'll start with Aquaterra. Aquaterra is the home of the hydroclids, and they're probably the most technologically advanced creatures in the fiber. Imagine those cities being made of crystal with advanced technologies. The whole world is a desert with a sandstorm constantly running above. Then we got Borona. Borona is a new addition to my designs. It's home of the tunnelers. As you can see, they made homes in caves. But the whole world's been swallowed by the black hole consumer, and that's what his face going above is. Then Nicoloria is the home of the Niclidians, which is in book 1. But this is their home, and they don't live here anymore. They've been enslaved and taken away, and the Transcenders now live here in Nicolydia. This is the Transcender paradise. And then the 7th and last world is the home of the Transcenders, Megalonius. And Megalonius has been stripped dry. The Transcenders have taken all the salt and all the minerals out. All that's left is dirt and rock. But this is still where the home of their empire resides. Their primary source of all power, and it has to be dealt with in book 4. One of the things that I've been asked is what inspires me to my writing? Where do I get my ideas? I've been doing it for a long time, but I haven't really been doing it alone. I've been doing it by reading other authors. Right now, I'm currently reading the stories of the Starseed series by Kyle West. Amazing books. Then Arthur C. Clarke, his entire Space Odyssey, 2001 to 3001. And of course, my first science fiction book, Beyond Star Wars, Do Androids Dream of Electronic Sleep by Arthur or Philip K. Dick. Amazing. What an amazing group. Then we move into fantasy, and the first fantasy I ever read was Lord of the Rings, the Middle Earth books by J.R.R. Tolkien. I remember my entire teenage years just indulging in all those books. And then I also found a Florida author named Piers Anthony, and he's written so many wonderful things, and I've read most everything. Here I put down the Xanth series, his Adept series, and the Incarnations of Immortality series. The Incarnations is probably his most powerful series I've ever read by him. And then once when I got the opportunity to meet David Eddings, not once but twice, and he wrote the fantastic fantasy stories of the Belgariad and the Malorian. All of these are worth your time to read. I really recommend them. You gotta have your inspiration for horror, and horror starts with Stephen King. And I've read so many books by King, I can't even list them now. I mean, I'm talking about Carrie, I'm talking about Kojo, I'm talking about Eyes of the Dragon, I'm talking about The Stand, I'm talking about the Dark Tower series. This man knows, and hey, there's no limit to the imagination. He even writes himself into his stories. I remember I was in high school when I read The Interview with a Vampire by Anne Rice, and I've just eaten alive every one of her vampire books, sucked them dry, if you will. And then Clive Barker. What can you say about Clive? Met him, met him at a fair once, and just sat there and thanked him so much for being able to tell his truths in his way in his books. Bloody books that they all are, but fantastic. Thank you, Clive. Now, some excitement. Part 1 has been edited and has been returned and it's ready for publication, but I have to get all 4 parts before I can turn it into a book. But I've read through what she's done and I think you're going to love it. I love it. I love it. She now has part 2 and part 3, and she's working very hard to get through those. She's created a consistency index. And what that basically means is when I call a character a certain name or I call a technology a certain name, that I constantly use it that way so that I don't confuse you. And she's also looking for irregularities in the writing, things that she's confused by. And that is important because that tells me I got to fix this, got to fix that. And I just can't help but feeling so lucky to be working with Joanne Bauman. I'm still working on part 4, but I intend to get that done before I go before the 8th of September and get everything to Joanne so that she has everything available to her for her scheduling. Other developments. I've made a change. Originally, I was calling Book 2 The Return of the Caldor. But after Revolt on Prime, Return of the Caldor didn't get for me what I really wanted. And so, pointing at the picture above me, I've decided to rename the book Detonate. And that won't mean nothing to you until you get to the end of book 1. And then also, The Song of Suffering will be the title for book 3. In September, I'm taking a little break. I'm going to let everyone work hard on the end, and then I come back from my break. I will be taking it through the publication journey based on how everybody else is working. I mean, if Joanne needs more time, there's more time. Chris needs more time, there's more time. When they are done, then I will be moving into my publication phase, and then what that basically means is I will produce the books for the proofreading. Then I have 3 families that I'll be giving the books to, my ARC group, and then they will be doing an evaluation on the print, on the cover, on the quality of the printout, take a quick read of the book. 6 set of eyes for spotting inconsistencies will be nothing but helpful. Make all fixes, and then we start the publication journey. And I'm not just going to stick it out there, put a QR code and say, go for it. I'm actually going to start building a campaign. And this is where you come in. And we'll be talking more when we get to that time. But I need your help to get the word out the book is coming and what it's about. And you've been watching all these vlogs, so you should have some material to show. I'm also thinking, if you guys like these wonderful images that I've been creating with AI for this whole vlog series, maybe put that into a second book. Maybe make that a PDF that's downloadable, because I don't want money for stuff done by the AI. But maybe you still would like to have it as a nice book to go along as you read it. Let me know what you think. If I don't get any comments, I won't bother. That's it for now. See you for next week's vlog.